Hi, everybody, and welcome to Locked On Brewers. I'm your host, Chuck Freeman. If you're a Wisconsin sports fan, it was a bad day. We've been down this road before, but the Brewers do get beat 4-2 by the Detroit Tigers in the opener of a three-game set. The Brewers have lost 3 of 4. We'll talk about that, some new faces on the team, and what direction is this thing heading? Okay, we'll talk about that next, coming up on Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And you are Locked On Brewers. I'm your host, Chuck Freeman. Great to have you along here late Monday night, Tuesday morning after the Brewers lose 4-2 to the Detroit Tigers. Yeah, it was a bad day in the state of Wisconsin. First of all, the Aaron Rodgers trade. I know some of you, there's people who don't like that trade, but to see our Hall of Fame quarterback traded here in the state of Wisconsin, there's a lot of sentimental feelings. There's some mixed feelings, and I know some people are a little hurt over the situation and all that. And there's a lot of Rodgers fans out there, but that started the day off on a bad note. And there was the Bucs blowing a 15-point lead and getting down 3-1 to the Miami Heat. And of course, the Brewers lose 4-2 to the Tigers. Great to have you along, though. We're talking Brewer baseball every day. Thanks for following us here on Locked On Brewers. Follow us on the app as we talk about. Download it. I put it out on Twitter, Spotify, Google. You can go to the Apple Podcasts. We're everywhere that you download podcasts. We are right there. Locked On Brewers, the number one podcast talking Milwaukee Brewer baseball right here is Locked On Brewers. Thanks for making us your first listen to every day. You everydayers out there, those who tweet, follow us on Twitter, and go to the app, watch us on YouTube. We're working on the video. I know it's been a little choppy as of late, working some things, getting a new computer as well. That's no excuse, but because it should be smooth sailing on the video end, but we're working on some things and hopefully correcting those things going forward. Follow me on Twitter, Chuck Freeman, Freimund. On YouTube, go to the YouTube page, Locked On Brewers. You are going to subscribe, hopefully, and then if you want to get alerted every time we drop an episode, hit that bell right there. That's going to pop up an alert on your phone or whatever device you have, and it's going to tell you every time we drop an episode. So good to have you along. I love talking Brewers baseball with you, and yes, especially when they're winning. But they've lost 3 of their last 4 games right now. And I asked people on Twitter, is this, what do you make of this right now? First time we've experienced losing this season for the Milwaukee Brewers, have fallen out of first place. The Pirates have taken over. I can't say that without a straight face that the Pirates have taken over, but that's the case. My name is Chuck Freeman. If you're watching me for the first time, let me introduce myself. I work for WIBA Radio Madison. I'm the morning sports anchor. I also cover the Brewers for AP Radio. Been doing sports talk shows in the Milwaukee area for a long, long time, and in the state of Wisconsin in general. Love it. Love Brewer baseball, my favorite professional sports team. And, it's an honor. My first year talking Brewer baseball here on Locked On Brewers. And, of course, anytime you want to get a hold of me, please follow me on Twitter, Chuck Freeman. You see it on YouTube, Freimund. That's Freimund. Also, your comments. I read those comments on YouTube. That's where I found out that we had a couple of glitches in the video, which I want to appreciate. That I appreciate that. I want to know, because we want Brewer fans, we suffer enough. You shouldn't have to suffer through a glitchy video, that's for sure. So we want to know your comments, your concerns, and all. Don't be calling me names. I went to Twitter tonight in the Bucs game. The Bucs were up by 15, and I said, the Miami Heat are done. O-N-E. You put something like that, it backfires. I am ducking bullets on Twitter tonight. So thank God I got a little safe haven to go over here to Locked On Brewers. I didn't make any predictions with the Milwaukee Brewers, but my Bucs prediction was off. And you know what? They still may come back and win that series. But we're talking Brewer baseball. Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. And of course, Brewers baseball. The Brewers play again on Tuesday night at 6:40 with that first pitch taken on the Detroit Tigers. Catch every pitch of Brewers hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Search Brewers. All right, 4-2 losers today. Rowdy Tellez was not in the lineup, and Christian Yelich, both given days off. Why do I always feel like when Brewer managers give guys a day off, they give everybody off? I mean, it's just not like resting one guy. It's like, let's rest like 4 or 5 stars. And tonight it was resting Tellez and Yelich. And I have no problem giving those guys a day off. There's no doubt about it. But it's funny because I feel like when we give guys a day off, it's like in bunches. It's like, and then we throwing out the Sunday lineup out there. So, and tonight's lineup did not make a heck of a lot of noise. A couple of solo home runs. Mike Brosseau hit a solo home run. And then also William Contreras, his first home run of the year, got on the board. But Colin Rea was the starting pitcher, and he gave up a 3-run home run to Nick Batoon early in this game. And, he pitched well enough. Again, with a guy like Colin Rea, we're not expecting him to go out there and be Roger Clemens. All right. This team is injured enough the way it is. And some of the guys were throwing out of the bullpen now these days, and we're going to get to that. And starting pitchers with some of these guys going down and missing starts. So Colin Rea is out there trying his best. Okay. He's trying to look for his shot at a major league team. And, he's got it with the Brewers right now. This was his 3rd start, but it was not great, but it wasn't bad either. It was what you expect from a guy wasn't a preferred starting pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers this year. Not a preferred guy. So, at the end of the day, Brewers pitching gives up 4 runs. I'm okay with that. This game wasn't lost because of Colin Rea giving up a 3-run home run. It was lost because didn't do enough offensively. I told you about the 2 solo home runs. 4th inning, Brewers put a couple of guys, put the bases loaded. Jacked the bases. Weimer popped out. And then Perkins, guy who's pressing the duty as well. Okay. Don't anybody get on him because, he's playing everyday right field and he's not a preferred starter on this team either. But because of injuries, Garrett Mitchell, he's out there playing right field, doing the best he can. And he struck out. But Perkins probably should be at AAA honing his craft. He shouldn't be in right field every day. But this is where the Brewers are with all these early season injuries. And I'm hoping that these injuries aren't going to cause a slide in the other direction right now. They've lost 3 of their last 4. First time this year, they have lost 2 straight. But yeah, Perkins, he's not a projected everyday starting right fielder right now at this point of his career. No, he should be down to AAA. But because of injuries and Garrett Mitchell, he is on this team right now. He is on this team. The Brewers have problems hitting Detroit's left-handed pitching tonight. The bullpen came out and the left-handers just did a number on the Brewers hitters tonight. And that's even without the 2 lefties the Brewers had with Yelich and Tellez getting the night off. So that was a little bit of an issue. The bullpen tonight, down 4-2. Bryce Wilson got into this game. He was throwing 94 to 96 in that velo. Just don't groove one, okay? 94, 95, 96 is great on velo, and he didn't. But when you groove one, that's where problems happen. Alex Claudio was called up. Alex just doesn't go away, does he? Alex refuses to go away. He's 31 years old. Always a spot for him on the major league roster. He was down at AAA, call up, and he had an appearance today. I think it was much of a surprise to a lot of people. Alex Claudio, is he still around? Because you almost think that Alex Claudio pitched on the 11 Brewers. That's how long he's been around. Taking a drink here. So Alex Claudio pitched in this game. We'll give the box score coming up here in a little bit. And Jake Cousins, who wasn't exactly lighting it up in Nashville, also appeared. So he was one of the first guys who got cut from the team in spring training. But, hey, you knew that Jake Cousins was going to find his way up here. Again, don't expect a lot when you got Wilson, Claudio, and Cousins coming out your bullpen. They're giving the bullpen a little bit of rest. They're down 4-2. And you know what? They didn't get crushed. They did not get crushed out there. So good for them. Brewers lost this game because of offense. Got nothing against the Tiger bullpen toward the end. Second game of that Brewers-Tiger series is coming up on Tuesday night, 6:40 Central. Catch every pitch of Brewers' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Search Brewers. Thanks for making Locked On Brewers your first day, your first listen every day. We'll be back, of course, tomorrow. We got a long ways to go in this podcast, but we'll be back tomorrow talking more Brewers baseball with you. We are here for you every day talking Brewers baseball, not only about the game, but notes and analysis on what's going on with these guys. Locked On Brewers, brought to you by BetterHelp. Getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially because we're always growing and changes. We're growing and changing in our life, and it's an ongoing thing. Therapy is all about deepening your self-awareness and understanding, because sometimes we don't know what we want or why we react the way we do until we talk through things. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who can take you on that journey of self-discovery from wherever you are in life. Now, if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. Give them a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to fit your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with the licensed therapist, and you can always switch therapists anytime for no additional charges at all with BetterHelp. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnMLB, and you'll get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/LockedOnMLB today. Get 10% off your first month. It's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnMLB. Chuck Freeman here, Locked On Brewers here on a Monday night. And so we're rolling into Tuesday morning. Got some transactions the Brewers had earlier today. We'll get to that in just a little bit here. Got to get to the box score and see who did what. And like I said, very quiet night for the local 9 tonight. Mike Brosseau led off the game. Homer tonight, went 1 for 4. He played third base. Willie Adames batted in the 2-hole, went 0 for 3, 2 Ks. He DH'd tonight. They gave him a rest, and he played DH. William Contreras in the 3-hole, 2 for 4, his first home run of the year. Way to go, William. Brian Anderson in the 4th. Brian Anderson, yeah, I know he had 2 home runs on Sunday, but he's not a cleanup hitter. At least not on a championship team, okay? But this is where, again, the Brewers are, on a championship level team. You don't want Brian Anderson, who's a great pickup. Trust me, I'm not bashing him at all. A terrific pitchup, versatile defensively. We saw a strong arm. We see a number of things he could do. Hit the 2 home runs on Sunday, but he's not a cleanup hitter on a team that's trying to win the National League Central Division. He went 1 for 4 and struck out once. He's batting 278. Luke Voigt went 0 for 2, made the start, batted 5th, played first base for Rowdy today. Christian Yelich pinch hit at the end of that game, went 0 for 1. Owen Miller started at second base. He went 1 for 3. Tellez did pinch hit, struck out at his only appearance. Joey Weimer went 0 for 4. He's down to 206. He played center field tonight. Blake Perkins went out. He played left field tonight. Perkins has been playing right field, but he played left field tonight. He took it 0 for 3. He's not hitting well at all. He's got 1 hit. He's batting 125. Bryce Terang played shortstop. We saw him play shortstop Sunday afternoon after that game got out of hand with the Boston Red Sox, and he played short tonight, went 0 for 3 and a strikeout. He's batting 224. Pitching lines for the Brewers tonight: Chris Rea, 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, all earned, 3 of them on a 3-run home run. He struck out 1. He walked 4. Yeah, he walked 4. That was part of his demise tonight. Bryce Wilson. Now, this is as good as Bryce has looked. I mean, 2 innings, 1 hit, 4 strikeouts. Man, if you can get that out of your last guy out of the bullpen, and that's where I look at him, that's a fantastic outing for Bryce Wilson. Alex Claudio, 2 hits in a third of an inning, threw 4 pitches. Jake Cousins walked a couple of guys, struck out 3 in an inning and 2/3. Tonight on 38 pitches, he mopped up the rest of the game. And that's a Brewers 4-2 loss. So some transactions today. Matt Bush, who I spent the better part of 10 minutes on the show yesterday, just hammering on him on the show that dropped on Monday, just hammering on why we're throwing this guy out in high leverage situations. Now, he's got a right rotator cuff injury, tendonitis, and the exams did not turn out well. He will miss 2 to 4 weeks. So they'll shut him down for a little bit here. No, of course I don't want to see him hurt. They need arms right now. They do need arms because they're calling up the Jake Cousins of the world and Alex Claudio, hoping that they can, pitch him in games, and Jake Cousins sucking up innings, and Bryce Wilson trying to hold on to a 2-run lead tonight, and did, thankfully. But Matt Bush is still an arm, a guy you could use to eat up some innings. Like, Boxberger was that guy last year. The Brewers really don't have that kind of guy, that Brad Boxberger type, who's going to eat up an inning or 2 or 3 and make a ton of appearances. They don't have that guy really, I don't think they've identified that guy yet. But Bush goes on the injured list. He could be out for 2 to 4 weeks. They've designated Javi Guerra for assignment. Means they cut him. The Brewers picked him up at a trade. Craig Counsell talked about they like Guerra, but it's also a results-driven industry, and they weren't given the results. And Sunday was just an awful performance for Guerra. Okay, now was it worth DFAing him? Something else must have been going on there, but they DFA'd him. They said they like him, but they DFA'd him. So they must have thought that there's nobody else in the organization that's worse than him, that Javi Guerra got designated for assignment. And the home run ball was his problem. He had like 4 home runs in the last 7 innings. You got to keep the ball in the ballpark, and that's what Matt Bush wasn't doing, and either was Guerra. Here's where we are with Brewer pitching these days, which is supposed to be a strength of their team. We're hoping and praying that Adrian Hauser will come back soon. He's scheduled to make one more start at AAA, and they need him. Now, Hauser, I always looked at a guy as a 5th starter anyway. Yeah, there's some good and there's some bad when Adrian Hauser is on the hill. But he's going to make one more start for the Milwaukee Brewers at AAA Nashville. So right now, we're clamoring for him to get through that so he can join the rotation, this rotation that has had several guys go down. And right now, we're not even in first place anymore. We're going to talk about that here in a second. Willy Adames continues to reach base, has reached base, not hit, but just actually reached base in 22 of 23 games this year. Willy Adames doing his part in getting on base this year. Now, as I was saying, the Brewers have dropped out of first place. It's those Pittsburgh Pirates. It's those Pittsburgh Pirates that are in first place right now. I wouldn't be too worried about it. I wouldn't be too. Of course, this is a guy who thought the Bucks were going to go on and beat Miami tonight after holding on to a 15-point lead. So, what do I know? But the Pirates have won 7 in a row. They're 16-7, and they're up on the Brewers right now in the division. Pirates play tonight? No, the Pirates did not play. So, yep. So the Brewers now a game behind the Pirates. The Pirates 16-7. That looks so surreal to see the Pittsburgh Pirates. This isn't 1979 with Willie Stargell and Dave Parker on the roster, or those early 90s Pirates with I almost said Manny Sanguillen. That would have been the 79 Pirates. The 90 Pirates with Barry Bonds and Bobby Bonilla and Andy Van Slyke and that crew. But the Pirates have won 7 in a row. God, is that surreal. I'm going to have to subscribe to Locked On to Pirates. No, I'm not worried about them. I've told you all along. The alerts I get on my phone are for 2 teams, the Brewers and the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals right now sitting at 9-13, 6.5 behind the front-running Pittsburgh Pirates. I don't care a bit about Cincinnati. They stink. The Cubs are 12-9, but they're going to fall back. And the Pirates The Pirates won't finish 500 this year. Okay. They just won't. Now, it's a bad division. Okay. They might stack up some wins, but they're not going to finish 500. All right. Brewers have lost 3 of 4. We'll talk about that. We'll see what you think this direction this is going in for the Milwaukee Brewers. Are they leveling off a little bit? Are they settling into the mean a little bit? I think that was an algebraic term I learned way back at old Martin Luther High School, which is still around. But we'll talk about that. We'll take your tweets coming up a little bit. The Brewers play 6:40 coming up on Tuesday night. The Detroit Tigers in the second of a 3-game set. Catch every pitch of Brewers' hometown broadcast, Sirius XM, on the SXM app. Search Brewers. Thanks for making Locked On Brewers your first listen to every morning. I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I check and I see we've had 10, 11 different nations be listening in. That's why I drop these things overnight, because I'm finding out real quick that it's all over the world there are Brewer fans. Okay. Not that I didn't think that was the case, but Soviet Union, Poland. I heard it from a guy from Bangkok the other day. Keep those tweets and keep listening. We will be dropping these because I know it's a different time of the world overnight here compared to where it is in your part of the world. And we'd love to have you along. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thanks for making Locked On Brewers your first listen to every day. And thanks for making us the #1 Brewers podcast on the internet. Our new sponsor is So Rare, a revolutionary fantasy baseball game and market transforming fans and owners with officially licensed digital cards featuring players from across all 30 MLB teams. Unlike other fantasy baseball platforms, So Rare managers truly own their own fantasy experience, collecting, buying, selling, competing with other player cards against global opponents to win epic awards. Win or lose, you own your own cards, and there's no cost to play. Plus, the more you win, the more you advance, collecting increasing powerful cards and accessing next level competitions and awards. You know, those who finish at the top of their weeks, and game weeks happen twice weekly in a span of a 3 or 4 day span. Those at the top of the leaderboards will have a chance to win game tickets, merchandise, signed jerseys, VIP experience. Head to sorare.com/lockedon. It's spelled So Rare, SORARE.com, sorare.com to draft your team of free player cards. It's free. Set your lineup. Start competing today to win epic awards. Again, that's So Rare, SORARE.com/lockedon to start playing today. All right, get to some of your tweets here. See what you had to say about this game today. A Brewers 4-2 loss on a day that was disappointing on a number of different levels. If you're a Wisconsin sports fan, but you know something, we've been down this road before. I don't mean to laugh at it. It's no laughing matter. I'm crying when I'm saying that. American Family Field Pigeon says, just the ebb and flow of a 162 game season, we are still good. Brew Crew Critic, this was a Sunday council lineup on a Monday. Come back, win the series, clobber a bad Anaheim team, and we're all riding high again. Yeah, I still call them the Anaheim Angels, but technically they're the Los Angeles Angels and Anaheim or whatever. But Anaheim is coming to town on Friday. All right, just took a quick drink there. Marcus says they'll bounce back. Once our starters are healthier, I'd rather hit our rough spots now and be cold in April and May rather than have a bad September. We're still playing some good baseball, just draw 3 or 4, and have a bad September and stumble at the finish line. Let's make mistakes and work through these kinks right now. Russ says, tonight they were just what Detroit needed. Definitely feeling the bite from injuries. Yeah, they sure are. Again, you can just throw Brewer players out there with the uniforms. Doesn't mean they're going to perform like the preferred players we want up there. D.A. Orth, you're right on. Injuries catching up. You got Colin Rea and Blake Perkins costing you games in late April. Perkins struck out with the bases loaded. Colin Rea didn't cost them any game. Hasn't cost him any games so far. They were 2-0 with him on the mound before tonight. The Brewers were 2-0. And he pitched, I think, well enough. You get some offense and you're okay. Lefties struggle. The Brewers struggling against lefties is a serious concern. You got that right. That's definitely right. Let's just say this was a bad day for us in Milwaukee, writes Ryan. Yep, that sums it up. Let's just say this was a bad day for us in Milwaukee. The Rodgers trade, still sad to see a Hall of Famer go. Yep. Just like when it was when Favre went to the Jets in 2008. It's sad to see. It is. I know the Packers got a ton of draft picks out of it, and it looks good, but still, this guy won a Super Bowl, caused a lot of happiness for us on Sunday afternoons. All right, that's going to do it. Appreciate everybody. Tomorrow it's Spencer Turnbull against Eric Lauer, who pitched very well. His best outing as a major leaguer. That was in his last start. Need one from him and get back on the winning track. First time the Brewers have lost 2 in a row. Let's not make it 3 in a row when they play the Detroit Tigers coming up on Tuesday night. And of course, we'll be right back here after the game, dropping the podcast, talking to you. Again, follow me on Twitter, Chuck Freeman, FREIMUND. Follow us on YouTube, Locked On Brewers. Hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell there, and that's going to alert you every time we drop an episode. And of course, in your favorite place to get podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, wherever you get your podcasts. There's a lot of them out there. Thank you for listening and watching Locked On Brewers. I'm Chuck Freeman. Better days are coming, everybody. So long. We'll talk to you tomorrow.